Commemorative speech, Colton Gordon. My dad's better than your dad. A statement that I would argue with anyone. I'm sure a lot of people would say that about their father, but I believe that my dad's the best of them all because he's always there when you need him. There's nothing that he would not do for me, and he's the greatest man I know. Today will commemorate my dad. He's a role model, he's a great advice giver, and he's my best friend. So let's see what makes my dad so great. I've always looked up to my dad. I've strived to be just like him. He puts his family first, and now that I have my own family, I try to do the same. He's shown me the path to go down to live a happy and wonderful life. Like him, I try to always do the right thing for the right reasons. My dad would give the shirt off his back to somebody if they needed it, and that's why I want to be just like him. Now that I've told you a little bit about the kind of man that my dad is, let me tell you about some of the advice he's given me over the years. Through the years, my dad has always given me great advice that I hope to be able to pass down to my children. He's given me advice about my jobs, life, and just many other things over the years. A few that really stood out to me are when I wrecked my vehicles. I was really nervous about going home and telling him that I just wrecked my truck. I'd only had it for about 2 or 3 weeks before I drove it through a fence. I was real nervous about going home. I was about a block away, and when I finally did decide to go home, what he told me, I was nervous because I was scared about how angry and disappointed he would be with me because I had only gotten the truck 2 or 3 weeks before. When I finally went home to tell him, I waited to hear what he was going to say. He was glad that I was okay and told me, trucks can be replaced, you can't. The reason that stood out to me was that life is short and we can't be replaced. Material things can be replaced, but our lives together cannot be replaced. So to always live your life to the fullest and every day, because you never know when it may be your last. The advice my dad gives me is one of the reasons he is my best friend. My dad's my best friend, and I enjoy all the time I spend with him. Whether it's at football games, our time at the lake house, or just on the phone. We're huge Red Raider fans, and we used to have season tickets to the football games, and going to the games with my dad is where I fell in love with the game of football. Now that we do not go to as many games, maybe just 1 or 2 a year, we still talk about them a lot. We call each other after the games and talk about what we should have done better to have won the game. I also call them to let them know what recruits we're getting for the next season. I truly enjoy these conversations with my dad. Another hobby that we have is just about every weekend in the summer, we spend time together at our lake house where we take the boat out and I ride boards, and then we go sit together in the Rattlesnake Cove and drink beer and just talk. It's always a good time to be around my dad. Now you see why my dad's better than yours. Today I talked about my dad and how he's a role model and gives advice, and he's my best friend. Whether you're already a father or you're going to be a father someday, you should try to be the greatest version of yourself, like my dad, Scott Gordon, does. I would not be the man or father I am today if it was not for him. Thanks, Dad. I love you.